Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Stoic Theory, and in this podcast, don't really have a name for it yet, but this is the first episode. And today, I think it's perfect for me to just go over my background history on lifting and, just experiences I've had. So let's dive into how I got to where I am, my background, and my lifting experience. So the way that I started to train, I got inspiration from my father. My father's always been heavy on weights and just aesthetics, eating. I mean, not necessarily eating clean, because he does indulge sometimes, but my main inspiration for lifting has always been my father. Ever since I was a kid growing up, I always remember him in the basement grunting, and my sisters complaining about his grunts, but they don't realize that that's just, you gotta do it when you work out. Anyways, so growing up as a kid, watching my dad, big biceps, big shoulders, chest, whatever, right? Ultimate Chad father. And so growing up, I see this and it inspires me as a kid to start, doing some push-ups in my room. So when I was a kid, I was probably I had to have been 7-8 years old, just repping out push-ups. Obviously I was a kid, so I wasn't as strong. So one day I remember telling my dad, I asked him if we could train one day. Mind you, at this time I'm playing baseball, probably around 12 years old, I would say. And so he said sure. My dad always was strong on not putting me on the weights before 14 years old. So we would do here and there, not very consistent, but we would do these body weight workouts where I would just be doing push-ups, sit-ups, stuff like that. Just a bunch of body weight workouts. And then eventually, because of baseball, right, I was playing at a really high competitive level, and so around 13, 14, I would say, I started lifting with my personal trainers. And my personal trainers, before we were 14, he again made us do body weight stuff, so kind of like the stuff I was doing with my father. And I was pretty ahead of a lot of my teammates when it came to the body weight, balance, agility, all that kind of stuff. I've always been a really athletic person, and growing up as a kid, always very athletic, always outside moving. I'm telling you right now, if you ever knew me as a kid, I was always moving. I was never sitting in a chair. Still am the way as I am today, right? But I would be outside from sunrise till sunset, just playing sports with kids on the street, or just outside alone shooting some hoops, right? Always into that. But anyways, let's get back to the training. So as I was training with my team again, I'm really mobile as a person. I've always been really athletic. And then we got into weight training at about, I would say we were 14. Yeah, we were 14, got into some weight training, and our personal trainer made us train, obviously, for sport. So I remember doing farmer carries, farmer walks, The first ever time I did it, I was walking like a drunk man. I can't even lie to you. And it was good. So yeah, farmers carries, a bunch of kettlebell work. And that really built up my strength for later on in life when I started weightlifting, and it really gave me that frame to where I could just keep on building muscle onto. I'm very thankful for that, as if you're an athlete, before you start lifting weights, it's not necessarily easier to put on that aesthetic muscle, but you kind of already have that framework set for you, and you just have to grow into that frame, if that makes any sense to you. So yeah, doing a bunch of plyometrics and kettlebells, and lifting for a sport, right? So we would do a bunch of legs, like legs pretty much every workout, working out 2-3 times per week at this point, right? So that was me at 14. At 14, again, I wasn't the strongest kid on the team. I was very agile, very mobile. I was the most athletic one, and that's because of my background in training with my father, and also just, you know, being an athletic kid. I was blessed with my athleticism, thankfully, and it helped. That's for sure. So now I get to the time period of when I get really competitive with baseball, and this is the time when I really get into fitness. Like, I start thinking on my own about what I can do, lifting weights in my basement from the home gym that I used to have. It was so ghetto, but it was amazing. I miss it. So I'm lifting 2-3 times per week with baseball, and then I would do an extra day. Mind you, at this point I'm around 15-16 years old, and this was during the time when COVID happened, so I was really trying to grind out the weights. I can't lie to you. I was probably working out every single day. If I think back to the COVID times, yeah, I had to be training every single day, and I was training full body, I'm pretty sure. Wow. I just remember doing the exact same workout every single day until finally my team, we got our personal trainer to go on this app, and he actually, taught us certain workouts that we could do at home and all that, and we could track it on the app, and he can see it. It was really neat, honestly. So I'm very much, I know a lot about movement. I was taught since a young kid about how the body moves, how the body works. Whenever my personal trainer would speak, I was always the one listening, because I was always very intrigued on how the body moves, and weight training, aesthetics, all that kind of stuff, and just what we put into our body, and how you can really feel amazing just from the movement of the body, knowing how the movement works, right? And so now I'm currently, at a stage in my life where I'm still building a ton of lean muscle, right? And that's my main gain right now, is just aesthetics. I still work functionality, and I do believe that you can be a functional lifter and still look insanely aesthetic, because if you look at all these athletes, they're all, most of them are aesthetic if they take care of themselves, right? So now, currently at this point, I'm, not playing baseball anymore. My fitness is lifting 3 times per week, and then I do an extra day of jump roping, neck and abs. I do think that's important that you hit neck, so don't skip that out. And yeah, on those 3 days, like, I really work, because I do believe in low volume, high intense. Obviously, don't use that as an excuse to just do one set of everything. No, you're still in the gym to work hard. Just understand that the muscle only knows the stress that it's put under, not the reps or the sets that you do. And yeah, I've stuck with that routine for quite a while now. Seen insane results, man. I'm telling you right now, if you're someone who's a busy person and you want to put on insane size, and you want to get leaner, a 3-day plan is honestly the best for anyone that's busy and doesn't want to slave away at the gym all the time. And again, for the most part, when I was 17, I was doing 4 days. So, okay, let me just backtrack a little bit. Hold on. Just gonna take a nice sip of water. Got the water in the glass here now. So if we backtrack a bit, after baseball, where I quit, I was working out 5 days a week, which is quite a bit, but at the time I think because I was so, how do I say it? Not used to, but my body was just at a point where it was very fresh, because I was coming off of, playing baseball. And, playing baseball, it could definitely be straining for the body, especially if you're working out plus you're playing a sport competitively. So I think my body was just in a fresh state to where I couldn't get sore. And even if I was sore, I probably was working out that day, which is pretty crazy. And then fast forward a bit to a couple years after, I was working 4 days a week, did chest and tris, back and bis, legs, and then shoulders. Obviously, that's the 4-day split that most people run. You could interchange the days, whatever, right? Found some success in that, and then I did my research, and decided to do a 3-day split, because I was realizing I was getting really sore with a lot of my workouts, right? Because especially when you're training high intense, that's honestly the main reason why. When you train high intensity, you don't have to do as much volume as people think, right? Like these 4 days, 5 days, those are for the roid heads who can be in the gym for those 5 days, or 4 days, right? Everyone's body's different, and for me, 3 days works. Maybe for you, 2 days, right? Or for another guy, 4 days works in the gym. Personally, I just really realized that the 3 days is perfect because it works with my schedule. Plus, I'm gaining insane amounts of muscle and aesthetics from actually, doing 4 days doing 3 days compared to 4 days, right? And so that's where I'm at right now with lifting. Currently 5'10", if I had to say 5'10", yeah. I'm 142, and I feel amazing, Not just because I'm working out and, I have all this muscle, no. It's because of also what I put into my body and how I take care of my body outside of the gym. A lot of gym bros are actually just straight up unhealthy, right? People don't realize that because they slave away in the gym, and the only thing that they do throughout their day is go to the gym, right? When they get back from the gym, they eat, they're inside, eating. Then they hop on their PlayStation 4 and they're eating, with all that blue light in their eyes. And then they're inside again. They're inside for the whole day, right? So naturally, a lot of gym bros are very unhealthy people. But that's why I took it upon myself to start taking care of my body better, researching deeper into how I can boost my metabolisms, my recovery, all that kind of stuff that has to do with my body, and I found that the best way to do that is, get in sunlight, all that stuff, right? Just taking care of yourself outside of the gym is very important. So currently my training diet, I would say, looks like this. I eat pretty much the same thing every day unless it's the weekend and, I go out with my family or friends. So in the morning, I always have 4 to 5 eggs with some cheese, So that's for breakfast, okay? And then I'll usually have a snack. My snacks are mainly fruit. Depends on if I'm going to the gym. After my snack, I'll have a fruit bowl. right? But if it's, let's say I'm at work, I'll have a banana and an apple, or an apple and an orange. Love my apples, by the way. Love me a cheeky apple all the time. Top tier fruit. I would say number one fruit. But yes. So yeah, that's my morning. And then at lunchtime around 12:30, 1 o'clock ish, I'll have ground beef, sauerkraut, avocado, and honey. I have that pretty much every day, right, for lunch. Sometimes I'll put in a banana in there, or I'll add in an extra carb, just depending on if I came back from the gym, or if, I'm still hungry after. And so that's my lunch. Then if I'm hungry, I'll have another snack. Just depends on, if I'm hungry. Also, if I'm at work and I'm going to the gym after, I'll have a fruit with some honey. Then when I get home, I'll eat dinner. My dinner is just what my family eats. We eat good, okay? Just know that the Parmigiano Reggiano is on the table, alright? So we'll eat that, and then if I'm still hungry after dinner time, I'll have a fruit bowl, or I'll have some cheese. Love the Gruyere cheese. Amazing. I'll have that with some honey on it. Tastes spectacular. So that's my current diet, right? And obviously I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, I eat straight whole foods all the time. I'll be honest, right? Sometimes I like my shit food, but I think it's all about how you intake that food, right? If you're just eating that alone, then yeah, you shouldn't be doing that, okay? Because that'll lead to overindulgence, right? If I'm out with my family, or if I'm out with friends and, we want to have a nice treat, I'm going to have it with them, man. Just cause, right? It's for the culture. Why not? You don't have to be so serious on that. As long as you're good throughout the week, right? And even then, people don't realize that the desserts are actually could be good for you, right? If they're made with the right stuff. And so, if you think about it, Ray Pete literally pretty much said, yeah, bro, ice cream is good for you. You guys are tripping. Because the stuff that they put in it, right? Like, for example, raw milk, honey, like, ice cream made with good ingredients is actually a superfood. It's good for you, right? But then you get to the bullshit stuff, and that's when it starts getting, bad for you. So I stay away from seed oils as much as I can, away from all that. Try and keep it as whole and, whole as possible, right? Obviously, I'll have bread, as long as it's clean. Sourdough, love my sourdough, love my pain au chocolat, love apple fritters. Let me tell you, I'm a fiend, and I love ice cream. I love it, right? So I don't stay away from like bread. I don't stay away from pastas. I eat it, right? But it's all clean, which is what matters, right? So I just went over my training and my diet, and so I think that's pretty much what it's about right now, right? Oh yeah, and also sleep's really important, right? And I don't think that everyone needs 9 to 10 hours of sleep, or some guys, athletes, right? They sleep for 10 hours, but that's because they need 10 hours of sleep to recover, And so my sleep is usually 8.5 to 9 hours, depending on, just what time I could fall asleep, or waking up for work sometimes. And usually it's 9 to 6, right? So I get in my 9 hours, or 9:30 to 6, right? 8.5. That's where I flourish best, is when I'm on 8.5, 9 hours. Obviously, if I could get a full 9 all the time, would love it, but that's fine. I'm still fine with 8.5, 9. You know, I'm nice and recovered, feel good. And then, you know, sleep is just insanely important. And I wish when I was playing baseball, I understood that. Obviously, I was younger and I didn't really care. I was probably getting like 5-6 hours of sleep at that time. Yeah, that's mad. Trust me, sleep is amazing. You know, you'll never go wrong with getting good sleep. Right? You feel amazing, you feel energized throughout the whole day. Better for your body. You're gonna become more beautiful as a person. Right? Just taking care of yourself in general, you become more beautiful. Alright? That's all that you need to know. And yeah, if I had to think about anything else to talk about for this first episode, I think I would because there's something that caught my mind. Yes, okay. So yeah, just about the importance of keeping yourself in a well-trained state. You know, because sometimes I know people have busy lives and they will... It's kind of like they go to the gym, but they don't stay in that training state. And what I mean by training state is that flow, right? I'm not saying that you have to go in every single day, but just to stay consistent with their training. And I don't think that people realize that staying consistent with your training, being in that training state, could mean taking a couple days off, right? Or could mean, you know, going to the gym on Sunday, then Tuesday you go, then Thursday, right? But maybe it doesn't work out like that all the time for you because you're busy, right? So maybe you go Sunday, then you go Wednesday, then you go, let's say, Friday again or Saturday, and then you have to go back on Sunday. Didn't give yourself time to rest between that Saturday, Sunday lift. That's what I'm talking about, the training state. So when you're in this flow state of training, you know, you don't want to break that up because it's very not difficult to get back in. But when you get rid of that training state, that training mindset, it's very easy for you to just stop working out completely for a couple weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Thankfully, I've grown up always training. It's kind of like, you know, in Star Wars when the clones, you know, all they know is following orders, right? So they follow their orders. And I was brought up as, you know, train, right? To lift weights, to be in the gym, to swing baseballs, right? So I've always been in that training state since I was a kid. And that's why I'm very thankful for that, because it's helped with consistency a lot, right? So just staying in that training state, you know, see yourself honestly as a clone in the Clone Wars, you know? You're about to turn on the Jedi because all you know is your orders, right? So really just staying in that training state is what I'm trying to get at you right now, because it's very important and you're going to build insane amounts of muscle, stay aesthetic, and also you're going to feel amazing. I'm telling you that right now, you know? Because it's very easy to get out of that training state when it's all a mindset. Again, if you think the gym is important, you're going to go to the gym. If you think training that day is important, you're going to train. And also, don't psych yourself out. If you missed a couple days because you're busy, don't be like, oh my goodness, I can't eat this now. I can't eat the same. No, bro, you're good. Trust me. Don't worry. You're not going to get fat from missing your Tuesday lift that you're going to hit on Wednesday. All right? Relax. So, just knowing that you're still good on a 3-day, even if you miss one of your days, you know, it's probably better sometimes for you to just miss that day and hit the gym the next day, because you're going to probably hit a better lift that day. for the most part, because your body's going to be more recovered. Obviously, if you feel recovered the day before, please hit the gym. Don't just sit around and say that you don't feel recovered. Because rest is honestly the most important thing in the gym. Compared to anything else, I would say rest well. It's funny, in Dragon Ball, the old man, while, to be honest, I don't even know the main character's names because I've never watched it, but I always see this kind of picture of the old man saying, rest well, eat well, sleep well. And then he's like, yeah, but at 1:30 we're gonna wake back up from our nap, And I'm just trying to say that you rest well, you eat well, sleep well, train well, and you're gonna find your results. Trust me, you'll find them. Because you shock the muscle in the gym, and then when you're sitting down or just doing your normal thing throughout the day, you're actually building that muscle, right? And it's very important that you eat properly. Personally, I'm not a faster. I've never enjoyed fasting. I'm very much like where I have to eat every couple hours, so that's why for me, fasting, when I fast, I feel like crap. And some guys, they feel amazing when they fast. But I think the main thing is, again, when you grow up in a certain way and your body's used to a certain way of eating, you should probably keep that eating pattern if it's healthy for you, right? For example, for me, I've always been active since I was a kid, always. I honestly don't remember any time when I was a kid when I was just sitting down doing nothing. Probably when I was playing video games, but I would play for I'll be honest, I indulged. I would play for 2-3 hours, but I wouldn't be sitting down. I would be standing up and I would be moving. Yeah, I probably had ADHD as a kid. I'm not trying to self-diagnose myself, but holy shit, man. Thinking back at it, I was a rascal. I was just moving constantly. Even while I was waiting for the loading screens, I remember I used to have this mini hoop downstairs in my basement. And while I was waiting for loading screens, I would just do insane dunks on my mini hoop. I remember I would come upstairs for dinner and my dad would ask me how I was sweating. And now to think about it, yeah, I'm just an insanely active person, and as a kid I never stopped. Never. And so that's why when you're active like that, you have to eat. I think fasting is very detrimental for a lot of people, honestly. Actually, one of Ray Peat's papers, he writes about fasting and how it's very detrimental for your health. Not only that, but how you need an extra 200 to 300 calories worth of carbs in that meal. So let's say for your meal, you have an orange, an apple, eggs, and some cheese. If you fasted for a very long period of time, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, bro, you need an extra 200 to 300 calories worth of carbs in that one meal. Just because of how it fricked up your system. Your liver function starts to decrease after a pretty long period of fast. And I'm not saying fasting for 12 hours. No, you're good. You can fast for that long. But I'm saying 16 plus is when it starts to get bad. Right? So if you're an active person like that, maybe you should look into not fasting as long. Right? And then, I've just never been a faster, man. I just get really hangry, pissy. I don't like to fast. That's just it. And And I believe that food is supposed to work with us, right? God put food on this earth for us to eat. We're not supposed to avoid, eating food. If you're hungry, you eat. That's just how it works. Your body's trying to tell you something. If your biology in your body is working, then your body probably tells you what to eat and, when to eat, right? For example, if you just ate dinner and your stomach is growling and you had a good meal, not fucking McDonald's. Sorry. Shouldn't be swearing. Maybe you should eat something, and if your body's telling you it needs a carb in its system, then it needs a carb. If it's telling you it needs a protein, then it needs a protein. If it's telling you it needs a fat, it needs a fat. Right? Over time you'll learn what your body's trying to tell you just from knowing your body, right? And that's why when my friends are over, or if I'm out with my friends and I'm eating, they'll be like, yo, how do you eat so much? And I'm like, it's cause I'm hungry. Like, what else am I supposed to say? I eat a lot, first of all, because I have a body to maintain, right? People don't realize like how many more calories the body actually needs. And so I'm supposed to only be on my Shitness Pal, right? It says 2,700, whatever, right? Bullshit. Anyways. And then you look at your resting metabolic rate, which is inaccurate also, because I'm more active than what I say I am in that calculator thing. And it says I need an extra 1,600 calories on top of that. So that's like 43,000. That's mental math. Yeah, that's an extra 4,300 calories that I should be eating throughout the day. Obviously, not eating 4,300, most likely, to be honest. But yeah, I'm probably eating somewhere around there. But I eat when I'm hungry. The moral of the story is to eat when you're hungry and to not suppress the body of, the hunger. Not just drinking an espresso because you think it's gonna help your body, function. No, that's not how it works. Yes, espresso is amazing if you want to stunt your hunger, but you're messing up your bodily system by suppressing that hunger, And trust me, I love my espresso, man, but you have to be drinking that stuff strategically, right? And over time, you're gonna find that if you're a faster, if you're someone who likes to dodge what your body tells you, over time you actually fuck up your systems, right? Like, I know a lot of people who are constipated, right? And the main reason why is because their metabolic function is just terrible. They don't listen to their body. They eat too much of this but not enough of that. You know what I mean? And then they get on those restrictions, and then they do all that, and then they wonder why they're big, like fat, or they wonder why they're unhealthy is because they're lying to their body, right? Telling the truth externally not only raises your frequency, but telling the truth internally also does too, right? So when your body is telling you a truth, you should listen to that truth and not lie to your body and be like, no, you're not hungry, or gaslight it, right? Because then you not only are you making yourself unhealthier, but you're putting yourself at a lower frequency to live life at, because you just told the lie, man. But yeah, that's pretty much, wow. First episode of this podcast. I'm gonna figure out the name. Trust me. I don't know. I was thinking Theory Chronicles, the Theory Blueprint, but it sounds too much like those gurus, and Honestly, I'm just doing this just to chill, speak, because I believe that I have quite a bit of knowledge to spread on how the body moves and weightlifting and all that. I've been brought up, I've been taught how the body moves, how the body works through personal trainers who've worked with. Just an example of one of the personal trainers I have worked with. He is the personal trainer for the Toronto Blue Jays, the baseball team, the MLB team. The next one that I was trained with, he's trained guys like Tajon Buchanan, who's on TFC. He's trained many professional athletes, so I've picked their brains enough to know quite a bit. Obviously, I'm still learning, still, figuring stuff out for myself. But I'm not going to teach you anything that I wouldn't have tried, or that I don't believe in, or I'm not just going to be on a research paper and be like, oh, wow, this doctor said this, so he's correct. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm try it out for myself first, see how I like it, and I will tell you. That's why I enjoy this podcast. It's chill, and also I'm teaching as I'm doing it. So, thank you for watching, and don't forget, the theory is only true if you perceive it as.